Fiora. I like the Viego ban coming out, something that obviously Gemini has played, something a lot of the LPL teams are playing as well. Terrifying pick when it gets going.
Yeah, I still think you're going to be looking at things like the Caitlyn that we've seen banned away a huge amount. If you're looking specifically at Shun, though, things like the Kalista also become a big point of contention. He's like these more aggressive AD carries like the Kai'Sa as well.
Yumi.
True.
Is CFO going to ban this away?
Please do.
From Huhi?
Please do it.
Probably going to be an insta-lock first pick, you have to imagine. It is going to get taken.
There you go. There you go. There it is. That's a ban for the people, not just for the draft. No one wants to see it. Sejuani now going to be the first lock-in. Maokai, of course, taken on the board, elevates that Sejuani priority and could let us see 100 Thieves play more around topside if that is going to be in the jungle. Look to set up with some of those melee picks.
I'm really curious to see now for guys like Mission as well. Are we just going to go straight towards the Azir? Are we going to go towards Comfort for him? But it looks like, again, we are talking about these more aggressive AD carries on the bot side, and Lucian has really started to creep up in priority. We've seen him first picked a lot yesterday on blue side, but it actually will be the Caitlyn.
Ooh, okay, so they're going to go for the Caitlyn, expecting some kind of Lux here on 3 or Karma, any kind of pushing lane with the Caitlyn. You were talking about aggressive bots. Shun has been playing Kai'Sa, Tristana, Kalista, bot lanes that either want to have kill pressure or get the push. Will 100 Thieves match with the Lucian Nami? I'm not so sure. It does give you good sustain and a big power spike at that first mythic item, but we've seen lots of people try to dissect the Caitlyn dilemma in terms of contesting push.
And this is going to be a big step up, or at least a big point of contention here for FPI and Huhi. They struggled against Shun and Koala the last time these two teams faced off, so now you're going up against one of the most dominant lanes that could possibly go into that bot side. You need to be coming out with strong picks that can actually contest against this.
And if 100 Thieves wanted to play around topside,
Ooh.
throws a bit of a spanner in the work. Wow. Okay, Bel'Veth essentially confirming Sejuani tanking on the top side. Now, someday obviously an incredible player in the first week despite the losses, but wow, a lot of pretty volatile topside picks outside of the Sejuani.
I like the Bel'Veth, but I feel like when Western teams are getting knocked out, Bel'Veth is like their fallback. We saw it from, I think, C9 and G2 as well. And their
Elyoya busted it out too.
Elyoya. So hopefully this is a Bel'Veth that can actually impact the map and not just kind of not make plays happen. You fall behind and then you just seem useless. We'll see what he can get done with the Sejuani. Of course, we'll have a really good time with getting that E stun lock and the Azir pickup for Abadaga. No surprise, Mission will match you with a control mage of his own.
And I think if you're 100 Thieves fans, you're just waiting with bated breath to see what FBI and Huhi are going to come up with. Because if we see an Ezreal Karma on the bottom side, I am not a fan. This other strategy we've seen that has worked is almost equally terrifying, which is something like a Blitzcrank, something super aggressive that can shut the Lux down, but that is high stakes. If you mess that up, if you make a mistake in that bottom side, it falls apart so quickly.
They may not even get to take that bet, though. I could easily see, okay, it's not going to be CFO just banning away some of these more supports that can go well against the Lux, like the Blitz, like the Karma in particular as well, and then making that lane that even more oppressive, especially with the fact FBI and Huhi have completely left themselves open.
So I think there's two ways that 100 Thieves can do this, depending on this next ban. Kalista is probably the easiest with the Kalista Blitzcrank something, or Draven Blitzcrank, but I'm not sure if that's something 100 Thieves will lean into. The second option is a Jinx lane, which can function well into the Caitlyn. Something like a Jinx with a melee support, something with Engage for setup to actually bridge the distance in terms of range.
I think Ashe would actually be sick here.
Yeah, Ashe,
you've got like good push against the Caitlyn. You've already got a ton of damage coming through from your jungle and your Azir, and you just provide more CC, more setup for the likes of Bel'Veth and the Azir. Honestly, this could be one of the times we get to see the Ashe coming out as a counter to the Caitlyn that was talked about for so long as an answer to this.
What jungler will be picked up here for Gemini? I mean, they see jungle, they see top. There's no real room for talent to pick here in terms of hiding picks for CFO. It's just a value of picking your jungler last. Maybe something like a Jarvan could work if they pick something immobile in bot lane, but it's just going to be a Lucian Nami, it looks like. Really spikes on that first mythic, and it's a very strong bot lane in the current meta. I'll hold my breath on the hovers for now and see what direction they're going. So they've gone for the Kalista. They go for the Blitzcrank as well. Kalista Thresh, not a huge fan, but Nautilus Blitzcrank, something with more all-in potential, I would prefer.
And this is a very high stakes bot lane again. Just a quick highlight on Narp, of course, one of the rest's most played. He was a montage maker domestically on this pick. But honestly, the second I feel myself talking about top lane, I just get pulled right back down to bot because, again, such a high stakes lane matchup. If you get the all-ins, if you find early all-ins, if you stop these champions from just taking over the lane with their range advantage, things can go very well for 100 Thieves. If you fail, they're taking towers left and right, and you are falling out of the game so incredibly quickly.
Yeah, not quite the Blitzcrank that we're going to get, but the Amumu I still think is a great pickup for Huhi. Last time we saw these two teams face off at that first Rift Herald, Huhi had a fantastic Curse the Sad Mummy that set up them for the bullet time from FBI that ended up actually winning out that engagement for them. So I like that they're trying to play back in towards this and just providing a ton of CC for a very damage-heavy team.
I like the last big jungle here from CFO as well. If that was a Jinx, Tahm Kench, or something, or some kind of immobile AD carry, then this Jarvan last pick would have more value in terms of hiding it. I wonder if 100 Thieves were vocal and saying we need an AD carry that can actually do well into Jarvan and have mobility. So that's why they opted for a Kalista lane. But yeah, lots of engage now on 100 Thieves. Still a little bit to see whether they can land the engage. You know, Sejuani ult is a skill shot at the end of the day, Amumu Q as well, but they can find really good flanks and angles. And pulling out the Amumu, throwing him back in with the big ultimate. They have a lot of front to back here to work with, but CFO have a lot of pushing lanes that they need to deal with.
And we've gotten a lot of the changes that we want to see from 100 Thieves. Potentially too many changes. Very volatile composition. The Bel'Veth paired with this early game bot lane. Gonna have to see how it plays out. See if this is the strategy, if this is the look. And the last dance for 100 Thieves, if this will be the composition that can keep them in the running.
I think there might be a... No, never mind. They've actually managed to swap on my screen here. It's just on the lower third there. It looks like it was a good Gnar bot lane, Caitlyn top, but no, they have swapped.
You've never heard of Gnar? You've never played Gnar bot lane before?
Gnar Lux sounds like really oppressive.
The Undying Caitlyn top lane, you know, from the 1v1 tournaments.
Yeah.
Binding into Mega Gnar.
Full lethality.
Caitlyn top into Sejuani, keeping her under a tower. Would be exciting. But no, we've swapped it all back. And yeah, we're just going to reiterate how important this best of one is for either of these teams to catch up and get in the running. 100 Thieves still looking for their first win. And if they need if they're going to get a first win, it has to be this one.
Certainly does. New York, let's get into game. 100 Thieves versus CFO. The last dance of North America. Do they know the steps? Of course, before we get into it, I think I left somebody, didn't hear who he said. 100 Thieves fans out in force, but of course, before we get into games, before this level 1 comes to fruition, make sure you link your league account with Prime Gaming to receive free digital goods.
So, CFO here warding middle bot brush to get early push. They might find Huhi here, but there's no real action to be done. Not a huge lot of follow-up. Binding not in range. So that second brush control is really important in getting the Caitlyn Lux to push, so they can test the third brush and they can look for auto attacks in and out of the brush. You know, you hit the Amumu, then you go back inside the brush. They don't have vision because you swapped the sweeper, and then you can always win out on the trade. We'll see how Gemini paths this game. Expect him to focus bot lane.
And that's why I'm surprised to not see 100 Thieves trying to get deeper vision here, because it does feel like for Gemini, he wants to be trying to play around this bot side. So a red into, you know, your two camps on bot side makes a hell of a lot of sense here, but not actually having the vision where he started now means that you're not actually going to be sure if Shun and Qual are about to get some help in that bot lane.
Absolutely, and that's so incredibly important when they're already set to win just the laning matchup, as long as Amumu is not landing these Qs. So wondering if 100 Thieves are going to give their bot lane a little bit more support here. Harder with the Bel'Veth than it is with the Jarvan. So keeping eyes closely on the jungle pathing here, as both starting top side, so maybe expecting some action around bot early on.
Yeah, Camera is just going to be bot lane most of this game. Mid lane is just two control mages farming it out. The Azir on 6 will have some kind of threat with the jungle. Top lane will be quite slow as well, but 100 Thieves want to all-in bot, and CFO want to stack waves and push. All-in's not very good for the Caitlyn and Lux unless they have control over the wave, but the Kalista lane definitely wants to fight. So we'll see a little bit of respect here from CFO's bot lane as they try to get to level 2 and poke out the Kalista and Amumu. And then from that point onwards, they can stack waves when Jarvan's bot side. They'll win the 3v3. So 100 Thieves just trying to capitalize on any mistakes in these first couple waves.
And I think the biggest one that's going to be interesting to see is how this mid lane matchup then fends itself in towards the bot side as well, because Abbedagge should have a decent amount of push in this lane, so if he can then group up it closer, suddenly you have that numbers advantage on the bot side that 100 Thieves can try and leverage against what CFO were trying to do. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Abbedagge to see if he can up that kill participation a little bit and get a little bit more involved in these early stages.
Certainly, and I think the good news for all of the lanes 100 Thieves is they have so much CC set up to help make sure that the Bel'Veth can impact these lanes, especially level 6. Azir, this is one of the reasons that he has been considered above Victor, above the other control mages, is the mobility that he brings, is the playmaking that he brings post level 6, but it's all about making it happen, especially now as J4 double buffs moving down to the bottom side, maybe just covering for now, but all of these plays, pretty high stakes early on.
Yeah, it just looks like he's covering. He might pop the sweeper here or something, try to get some info and try push, but no, he's just going to put his spear down as a ward. Closer is going to go towards these Krugs as the crab is spawning. Gemini wants to secure that, but his bot lane now safe and happy to just keep stacking these waves. And I think you're right there, Draco. The reason Azir is S tier is it just ticks every box. Pushing lane, scaling, playmaking, mobility, range, you know, it has everything. So it's just such a well-rounded champ that it's so incredibly strong in pro play, but in solo queue can never really perform at that level because of the game pace.
And I mean, that's the reason, right? The second Azir is anywhere close to Medi, is like always mid lane, because it just gives you everything that you want. And we'll have to see now if Closer will be able to get a little bit of help now for 100 Thieves on bot side, but looks like he's been spotted out. Shun and Koala well aware that this is going down.
Ooh, he's still stepping forward. Just getting a bit frisky there, just poking around. Of course, cleanse available for the Caitlyn does make it a little bit easier to get out of at least the initial play.
I would say not too bad for 100 Thieves, to be honest. They can start stacking waves back. CFO's bot lane has to play with respect. Gemini has to go to his top camps, and Closer still hovering around this bot side river, so looks not too bad. Only down a couple CS despite the Caitlyn Lux perma push, and now Closer actually going to go towards his top grab, expecting him to full clear back down as his Gromp respawns. Belveth always just wants to keep power farming and then matching the Jarvan to stop him from finding early plays. He might cover Sunday here on his top push, who might be calling jungle and saying, hey, my wave's pushing out, might need a little bit of help. We'll see what he does though, because full clearing is always best for these farming junglers.
I think it becomes most interesting when we start to look at, almost the dichotomy and the split we're going to see in the map here for CFO and 100 Thieves, especially on Rift Herald, right? Because as a Belveth, you really want to try and make sure that you're able to get that first Rift Herald for yourself. But if you aren't able to kind of give that help to bot side for FBI and Goody to get those stacking waves, it becomes very difficult to move them out of this bot side. And if CFO are already to take a bit of a chunk out of this bot end tower, well, then that could be devastating if that Rift Herald goes into bot side. So I really want to see 100 Thieves getting involved in this bot lane early.
Good initial stun. Big damage on the Koala. Ignite already ticking. Flash forward. They're just going to cut him down. First blood. Oh, man. 100 Thieves, exactly the start that they wanted. The advantage for the Caitlyn and the Lux falling away instantly.
That is huge for the Kalista Amumu lane, not only because they got the first blood, but the fact that Koala doesn't have summoners anymore means he's so vulnerable in pushing in these waves. Big pick there, big first blood. Gold went over to Amumu, but you don't really care. Nice Q here from FBI. He autos the creep and Qs through it with the E to get the reset. Then manages to flash forward and get the E again to get the slow. So good Kalista mechanics to pick up the kill. Cleanses the exhaust to try to trade on the shoot a bit harder.
And this now becomes terrifying as well for CFO, because you're going to get that crash. Wave is going to start to push back out. And look where Belveth is on the map. Closer completely cleared at his topside jungle, then reset. So he's going to be here if they try to make a play, which is why you look at Gemini. He's been pulled down to this bot side just to make sure that Shun and Koala won't end up falling further behind or leaving them vulnerable to Closer on this bot end.
And this is so massive because you'd essentially bought yourself 3-4 minutes where Lux cannot walk forward in this lane without a creep in front of her. And the second that, he's holding on to Flash. The second level 6 comes around, they can go for the all-in again so effortlessly. Yep. And this is the danger of the Caitlyn Lux, is when it looks good and it's played flawlessly with no mistakes, it looks unstoppable, it looks unbeatable, it looks incredibly oppressive. But it's a high-stakes lane as well, and that if you fail one time, it falls down so quickly.
Execution is so crucial. Need to be at the top of your game to make sure you don't make these minute mistakes, because it can all fall apart at the second of a kill, right? You've just lost your entire bot advantage you've been getting for the last 5 minutes. So now 100 Thieves are the ones who can actually start stacking waves. Koala is the one who has to play with a lot of respect without information. And then they can be the ones to dictate the pace of this bot lane. Can push in waves, can even look for dives 3v2, or you could look to get the Herald first, as Dagda was alluding to, about getting this early Herald to start snowballing the game. Oh, Shun.
Stun. Ending Shun. First net back. Still has both of his summons. He's going to cleanse now. The follow-up still coming through. Big damage. Forced to flash out as well. Again, massive wins on the bottom side for 100 Thieves.
I mean, this is huge for them. They get so much control over this bot side. A little bit early, so Closer wasn't able to get in there, but still, the fact you get to crash this wave, you get the opportunity now for the Belveth to have support from the likes of Huhi if he wants to roam after crashing this wave. They're going to get Dragon off of this. 100 Thieves are coming in, and they're looking good in game one.
They are. Easy objective here for them. 40 seconds until the Herald. Closer could take a base, they could push another bot wave and then meet each other on that objective. It's really hard for CFO to match with their bot lane because one, they want to push all the time, and two, they have no summoners to contest this Herald, and they're so vulnerable to a Sejuani ult and a Zir shuffle. There's so many tools that 100 Thieves have to shut that bot lane down. So for CFO right now, it's about weathering the storm, getting a couple more items on this Victor, and trying to get this Caitlyn out of bot lane into mid and then play the mid game.
I mean, even with the kill as well on Huhi, he's going to hit 6 pretty quickly as well, so he should have that ultimate available then for the Rift Herald fight as well, so it's going to become really hard for CFO to try and contest it, and I mean, that's exactly the start 100 Thieves wanted, especially if you're keeping this Lux and Caitlyn in check.
So, the Belveth's base is now running towards the top side. Huhi looks like he's going to get a little bit of bot side vision. 8 minutes on the clock. And I expect 100 Thieves to accelerate this game a little bit and try to start this Herald up. The question is on what wave will they do it? Will FBI try to push this wave in and try to meet his jungler? Does he need to meet his jungler? Will they only need the Amumu? CFO trying to make a play on mid here.
Gemini just ticked over to 6. Just walking forward, waiting for Abadagi to burn any cooldowns. Knows he cannot just flag and drag in without the element of surprise. So just forcing him off of mid wave for now, just trying to get to a little bit of control there. And this is a crucial moment in the game for CFO. Bot lane falling apart a little bit. Yes, they can still use their range advantage, but this Jarvan level 6, if Gemini goes through this entire early game 0-0-0 as his bot lane is falling apart, as Closer is power farming up, it's bad news. And already on the top side, plays being made, pressure being laid down.
Look at where Gemini is, though. He doesn't want to go 0-0-0 for the moment, but Huhi and FBI, they've read it, and they're doing a really good job of just trying to play around where these wave states are. And now you got the Bel'Veth on the top side with Closer going, hey, cool. Well, if you're going to play around bot end, I'll just take the Rift Herald solo.
Someday looking for an ult in there. Doesn't get the proc E damage, but he can look for the ult here. Rest incredibly low, also on a split map, so needs to be careful. I feel like 100 Thieves drop the ball here a little bit. They'll still pick up the Herald, but they're not involving their bot lane as much as maybe they could have with a push out, swapping them full on the top side, 4-man with a Herald, and start snowballing this game a little bit quicker. CFO will respond with a lot of gold here in their back pocket, denying experience. The Caitlyn's now up 10 CS. Yes, they get the Herald, and they should be able to pay 100 Thieves bot lane back, but with the kill and with the lead that they had, I felt like they could pressure a little bit harder.
Certainly could, but CFO happy to get some of those plays back, some gold back in the back pockets of their bottom lane, even if it takes a lot of their junglers' time, even if it means giving up the Herald. Question, of course, be how do 100 Thieves use that objective? A very empowered Bel'Veth, ready to make it happen in mid lane, and this is gotta be annoying for Mission. Look at those. God dang it. She just makes little fish, and you just have to deal with it. This champion with Rift Herald is so annoying.
Yeah, hello, Remora, isn't it? Open tower.
Remora, yeah, that's
There
it.
you go.
On the
I
side
read
lane.
the law wiki page, and I need the people to know it.
Yeah, Remora. I didn't even know they were called that.
that thing is, yeah.
Especially when the Bel'Veth has, like, she's so fed. First item, heralds your tower, almost takes her inhib. Really frustrating, but Mission will clear out those Remoras, has the TP. And now we need to watch 100 Thieves what their next game plan is, because Shun summoners are coming back up. Koala summoners are coming back up. Gemini will base, I presume, very soon and start matching towards this bot side, or at least trying to contest the 3v3. And 100 Thieves want to drop this Herald bot side. There's no point using it top. Could use it mid for Abadage, but ideally they want to get FBI's Kalista even further ahead. Still yet to get a kill. Down and creep, so probably even with Shun right now. And Closer looking for a little bit of vision. Now Gemini coming down towards the spot side, the 3v3.
Louis now going in, that's the level 6. The cleanse is up, but it might not be enough. The Galen getting cut down. That's going to be one easy kill. Now here comes the Bel'Veth. Will they try to make it 2? No. He's still standing. Closer on the way in. Oh, and there it is. One slappy Stingray to finish the job.
Big kill by 100 Thieves there. We were a little bit skeptical of the Herald play and not actually playing around the Kalista as much, but they managed to pick up a kill. Flash Q here from Koala is going to miss. Too Closer. And they will crash the bot waves in. Doesn't look like they want to use their Herald. FBI a little bit low. Probably has a lot of gold in base here. So good proactive play. Gets the cleanse out of Shun.
Yeah, still though, you don't get that Rift Tower going down in that bottom side because you had Gemini linking up there with Koala in that bot lane. So at the moment, you kind of need to set that up once more. Now, Abadage has good push in the mid lane, so maybe you just need to bring more members down to this bot side. But you see here, FBI, I'm not sure. It looks like
Solo Bolo.
Oh, wait.
Rest now running.
Oh. Flash.
And this is why so often we see Ignite taken in this top lane matchup is you have a lot of kill pressure on the Gnar. Someday opting for the flash, I think because of the J4, I think because of the backline on the opposite side that he needs to close the gap with. But Rest has been so close to death multiple times in this lane.
I'm keeping my eyes mid here though. Closer starting to move in, and this was kind of what we saw already, was Closer help Abadage get push, but it looked like they're just going to slam this Rift Herald down instead. Even Someday moving down from the bot side to help support 100 Thieves on this push.
Yep.
Should just get the charge, but won't be too much to write home about.
Gold over to the Azir never hurts though. That'll be an extra plate as well to full. But Someday having a good game so far. I mean, he gets counterpicked by the Gnar, and he almost gets a solo kill in his lane, which is really impressive, I think, on the Sejuani going even. So that'll help 100 Thieves out a lot when it comes to these team fights. The Victor so immobile against Sejuani might be his target, and we've talked about the amount of engage that 100 Thieves have, so the backline of CFO will need to be very careful, and it's about weathering the storm still for them right now. Dragons up, 100 Thieves will just push in bot and look to start it, mid push as well. CFO, no real response with Gemini on this top side, so 2 Dragons under their belt, 13 minutes into the game, getting closer and closer to that soul point.
And Jinkies, boys, what a turn from week 1 to this. This first game that they played against each other was such a disaster for 100 Thieves, and this is the level of performance I think 100 Thieves fans wanted to see. Confidence in their bot lane to pick this matchup to outperform, as we see Someday contesting the creeps, and tons of credit to the team for bringing it back like this in their first game of the day.
And for CFO, it's a bit of a rose Scooby, right? Because you can't actually get into any parts of this map right now. You're trying to move into topside there with Gemini. You're spotted out already. You're not able to go for a dive. It feels like every time 100 Thieves are making a play in the map, the trade for CFO is being denied. And that's why we're starting to see this road lead creep up. You now have 2 Dragons to your name. 100 Thieves are in such a good spot right now.
I just want to highlight Huhi. Just a really good performance on the Amumu so far. He's the one leading the charge with FBI and getting these Qs back to back, getting out cleanses, being tossed in with the ultimate. So able to shot call his way through this bot matchup, able to shot call his way through this pushing lane of Caitlyn Lux and shut it down next to the FBI, next to his duo of FBI. It's been the 2v2 that's been going in their favor the majority of this time, and we'll see what else they can get done. Closer picking up the second kill on the back half of the dive. Blue buff over to Abadage, cycling through the top camps. Herald spawning in the next minute, 30 seconds. We'll see how 100 Thieves decide to play out the map. CFO ideally would like to pick that up to shut down the snowball. When you have the first Herald crash on your mid tower, it means the second one will probably kill it. So CFO a little bit vulnerable right now in this control mage mirror in terms of this Herald coming onto the map. They need to look to contest it or try to shut it down, otherwise their mid tower will fall.
The big thing though is the mythics being completed for both their carries, right? Mission has his, Shun has his, and they're already kind of moving into position now. FBI should have his on reset, and I thought they were actually moving Shun in towards the mid lane. You can see they're kind of considering that, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case instead. So mythics will be matched now by Abadagi and FBI for the moment.
Rest, no flash. Meganar's about to time out. Two people hiding in the bush.
Oh, waiting. Going in, instant stun, instant follow-up. There's no way! He's just a tiny little Yordle. There's too much damage. Ignite ticket, he's done. 100 Thieves finding the pick on the top lane. Crucial as the Herald is just 30 seconds away.
And they save the Amumu ult as well. Who he decides not to use it. They get the kill. That means the Herald should be secured as well with the Caitlyn being on the bot side. CFO should get the first tower of the game here on the Caitlyn, but 100 Thieves have a lot of objectives to respond with. Top tier 1, Herald, mid tier 1, and the push in mid means that Mission might be vulnerable if Abadage decides to go for the shuffle, decides against him.
Also just a great call from FBI, clearing out that entire bot side jungle before he makes his way into mid lane. So there isn't even anything for Gemini to try and answer with on the cross map. So really good job here from 100 Thieves. Now Shun will get bot lane tower, which will help out. They can now start to rotate him around the map, but you've always got to be so careful because with another Rift Herald now available for 100 Thieves, they can always quicken the pace on the map.
CFO trying to get this bot tier 2. I think they will get it, and I think 100 Thieves, Abadage is saying, let's try to get top tier 2, trying to pressure as hard as he can on this top side.
Pushing him back, rinse and repeat, rest. Not getting a chance to take a break whatsoever.
Great play there by 100 Thieves. They realize that CFO are going 4-man bot, so Abadage says, let's make a play top. They're not allowed to take our bot tier 2 for free. FBI then goes mid and pressures Mission away. 100 Thieves playing on these two lanes beautifully.
And they still haven't even taken the Rift Herald yet. So now you just have even more stuff going over in favor of 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves are playing this out so incredibly well, and CFO are starting to fall apart, especially when you look at just how strong Abadage and Close are going to be as this game progresses.
And as more towers are taken, the map gets smaller and smaller for CFO. They get a lot of gold into the back pocket of that Caitlyn, but this is the last outer standing. And with the amount of engage, the amount of setup that this 100 Thieves lineup has, it is going to be difficult for Shun to find any safe space to farm as we get later into the game.
Oof, 100 Thieves have a really good map play right now with the Herald. Bot tier 1 is up. In one crash, it'll die, and they can look for a tier 2 as well. So I think the call here from 100 Thieves is probably, let's all go mid, get vision, play towards bot side, light up the bot side of the map, and if Mission wants to sit top and try to take this top tier 1, we can either force his TP or get 2 towers. But 100 Thieves have so many options now that they've taken towers and have the Herald.
I can also see an argument for hanging on to it for a little bit. I mean, a minute until third dragon, you have that opportunity to create pressure mid, which you can then use to actually threaten an inhib turret as well. So as you say, there's a ton of different opportunities here for 100 Thieves, and very, very few left for the Flying Oyster, so they really need to try and find some sort of pick, some sort of opportunity to take 100 Thieves off the map and disrupt this tempo and advantage that they're building.
So Closer's going to take the Scryer's Bloom, has the Herald. A lot of pings coming out onto this bot tier 1, but they don't have enough information right now. CFO going 4-man mid, trying to contest these mid waves so they can flush 100 Thieves out of this bot side jungle. 30 seconds on that dragon. When will they put the Herald down? But I think you're right, Dagda. They could actually pop it bot in the next 10-20 seconds to start pressuring a lane that CFO's playing away from. So when they come towards this dragon, there's 2 pressure points on the map. One is the dragon start, one is the Herald pushing down. We'll see if 100 Thieves go for it.
Getting the Scuttle Crab, getting control over the pit for now. CFO forced to group as 5 just to try to get their way, to bully their way in around this objective. Bot wave being deleted by the tower right now. Gold lost to CFO. Huhi on the flank. It was his stun that started the snowball on the bot side that denied the Caitlyn Lux. Can he find the angle again? Yes, he can. Locked down. No Meganar for the fight. It's massive for the Thieves. Huhi now locked up, the damage being fired back. That's the Victor ultimate down. But FBI ready to throw him right back into the thick of it if he needs to. There's no option here for CFO. They're desperate. They have to just go for the mid lane tower because there is no fight that they can take.
All right, Huhi needs to go back to his mid lane ways. He needs to start building AP in this movement. 3 kills now on the support here for Huhi. He is hopping off this game. And this is what I love seeing, like taking the Amumu, having that control, having those big engages that are putting 100 Thieves ahead.
I mean, it's just beautiful play from Huhi so far this game. Definitely my MVP in terms of setting 100 Thieves up. Now the Herald will
mid.
come out. Rest will go bot, but he doesn't have TP. Abadage does and has the ultimate. CFO get the mid tier 1. No one's really hovering around Abadage right now, so I'm not too sure if he can get this bot tier 2. We'll keep our eye on it, see how much damage he can put down. Regardless, that tower will be low. They got the bot tier 1, and 100 Thieves are on sole point.
19 minutes into the game, gentlemen, that is pace. Normally when I'm talking about teams sprinting in this tournament, it is not a positive thing, but they are sprinting towards Seoul, and it's looking good.
And what a start for 100 Thieves. I mean, when they have to try and make that miracle run, when they need to win every single game, this is the start you want on that day, and this is the plays you want coming out from your support. Quick pick onto Rest as he separated from the team. Huhi find a perfect flank and sets up 100 Thieves beautifully.
His Qs have just been on points, really, haven't they? Closer's always been around. I think he has quite high kill participation as well. 2-0-2 next to Huhi's 3-0-1. The jungle support have been in team to get these kills together, despite that 2v2 kill bot. The first 4 or 5 minutes in, Huhi and Closer have been teaming up well.
And really, this is the start. You're going to take more wins after this. 100 Thieves can close this one out, but they have all the tools they need at their disposal. So much hard engage, so many members who are stronger than the ones on the opposite side. It has been an incredible game thus far. Huhi started it, the rest of the team keeping that ball rolling. And now the map and the options for CFO, few and far between. Again, the most reliable setup they have is a Jarvan, but they don't have other divers really to go back with it. Rest 0-3-0 has not gotten a single chance to use a Mega Gnar in a fight.
And it's a Kempuk sword Jarvan at that as well. He's not going to last very long if he jumps into 100 Thieves. So it really does feel like CFO kind of have to keep looking for picks or just find some way to disrupt this. Because if you just let this keep happening, well, 100 Thieves, they're going to play out the map. They're further ahead and they're going on
Here we
Gemini.
go! Rinse and repeat! Stealth Amumu now running in. He's looking for some friends. CFO, you interested? He's getting thrown right into the backside. Now he has to wander his way out, though. This is a bit of a difficult situation. He's going to be forced. Aldi is going to get taken down. Fight initially starting positive for CFO as Gemini makes it out to safety. So far, a 1-for-0 in favor of the Oysters.
It's a 2-for-0. Sunday also fell, but Rest TP'd in here, but I don't think they can actually get anything out of it. A little bit of miscommunication there from 100 Thieves, looking for a mid play. Huhi kind of missed everything in that fight. We'll excuse it, despite how well he's been playing this entire game, but that engage really did not land. Sunday was the one going in first. Abadage arrived a little bit late, and there was just no real follow-up on FBI tossing Huhi in. They get the summoners out of Mission and Shun, but that's a big shutdown over to CFO. Huhi had a 300 gold shutdown, I think.
And it should give CFO a bit of time now to kind of correct the wave states that they're in, because it was a bit of a mess, but this was super disjointed. Like, Huhi's wrapping around one way, you haven't even got the Kalista in position, and you're already fighting, and there's 4 members of CFO here, so Huhi not getting the initial bandage toss was a mess.
This is again.
Now you've lost your Sejuani, FBI sends him in, but everyone's running back. It's so disjointed from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, misses the first Q, flashes, misses the second Q, then he gets tossed in, ults, Abadage arrives a little bit late, and then Huhi has no real way out. So CFO have found some kind of play on this map to get the Caitlyn back into it, get the shutdowns, they can start contesting these mid waves. A little bit of topside vision, but 1 minute 30 seconds from now is the Dragon Soul for 100 Thieves, so CFO needs to make a call quickly in terms of what they want to do. Start up the Baron very, very soon, or just transfer this pressure towards the bot side. Looking for Abadage though, has the flash.
Fall into the enemy jungle, they spot Abadage. They can come over the wall to flag the drag. He's now been locked up. Mission now coming in. Abadage dashing out to safety. Clean mechanics. He shifts over the wall.
Mission just used the ultimate there. That's going to be on cooldown, you have to imagine, for this next Dragon spawn. We'll see what CFO can get done regardless. They're going to get this mid wave in once again. Someday has a lot of bot push that Rest will need to answer, and Rest doesn't have the TP, so CFO will have to give up this mid push and allow 100 Thieves back into the vision.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem right now, is just trying to get vision right now for CFO is not in a good spot. You've got Someday now who's stealing away all these camps. They've already had a lot of vision there for 100 Thieves that's now just going to be replaced. And suddenly you've got to try and walk into this Azir, the Amumu, the Sejuani blind. And that's not going to be the best spots, especially with how squishy most of the CFO are.
Yeah, and given their champions as well, the Caitlyn really wants to set up traps around the objective and be first to it. But with this Azir tower, with this push, like you're talking about with the pick potential, it's going to be really hard. CFO have 2 options here. Number 1, just go topside and just force a Baron and make 100 Thieves come into them and try to find a fight that way. Number 2, they have to brute force their way into this bot side jungle and face check this Amumu Sejuani. Both calls are very risky, but this is the position that they're in. We'll see which one they go for.
A good call on the Azir turret from Abadage, keeping that minion line in check, making sure that CFO can't actually contest this mid push. Now they should be able to, but the Dragon's already spawned, and once more, we're looking at flanks coming through from the jungle.
And this feels like the last, or what could be the last desperation death ball from the side of CFO. They're giving up so much CS on the bottom side just to contest because they know that this soul could be everything. Abadage off the flank, Huhi on the flank. Was he spotted out? Oh, whipping, he might have a second charge. He's gonna Hex Flash over the wall. Have to be careful. Fighting into CFO is very dangerous. CFO pulling back, trying to bait 100 Thieves to walk into them, but there's a Calista on the side of 100 Thieves. They can take this objective quite easily.
Rest, Meganar coming up. They have to go soon. They have to go in. CFO on a timer.
Now Huhi now walking them down. They're instantly chain CCing back. They're trying to look them down. Abadage on the flank! Throwing the ball lane back into the waiting arms of the Thieves! Dragon still standing, 2K, but they take the fight. They take the soul. They send Oysters running. Absolute domination from 100 Thieves.
It is flawless. 5-0. Dragon Soul. They're going to end through pot as well. They don't even go for the Baron. TP's coming in, and 100 Thieves pincer them. They rout them, and they shut them down.
An amazing performance from 100 Thieves on a day where they needed to step up. They have answered the call in game one, and now they must continue to strive forward with this same presence.
NA's final hope will not go quietly. CFO, a last-ditch effort.
No
A
wave.
maybe. They've got a wave behind them, but they can't risk it. They don't want to risk it. They've got the soul. They've got everything going for them, but we've seen what can happen when you try to rush down a Nexus and it goes just a little bit awry. 100 Thieves will not make the same mistake.
The GAM incidents right next to top esports. Don't want to go too far on that Nexus rush. There was a wave coming in, but the Victor has good clear. A little bit of base is being cancelled here, but someday really tanky should be able to get out of there. Gemini still on the respawn timer, but with this gold lead and with the soul point, I think 100 Thieves are going to feel very comfortable enforcing that Baron. It's Huhi who goes in first because CFO are on a timer, and then it's Abadage that shuffles them all in.
And great timing on both the CCs onto the Gnar, right? Rest actually can't get a good counter engage off. Abadage gets a brilliant swoop and boop into the back line. Even though he's exhausted, you've just got the damage coming through from Closer, from FB on the back line, so it doesn't matter. CFO were just out of there.
And again, Rest for so much of his domestic season was incredible on this Gnar, was unstoppable on this Gnar, but this entire game, I don't think he's gotten to hit 2 people with his ultimate a single time. He has been shut down, 0-4-0, finally a bit of MR to his name, but that Belveth's strong, that Callista's strong, and I just don't think it's going to be enough.
So much mobility on the backlines in terms of shutting it down, on top of things like the Banshee's Veil and the Cleanse, just makes it so hard to lock those targets down. 100 Thieves now with this top push, controlling this top side river. 4 minutes on the Elder. CFO, their only real way back into this is stalling long enough that Elder spawns, stealing it, and we can see what the power of Elder Dragon can do when you're down in gold. It just turns the tides in an entire game, but 100 Thieves won't let the game get to that point, I expect, as they push in mid here and move towards the Baron.
Yeah, it feels like it's very easy for 100 Thieves, right? Push mid-wave, get your vision control established on top side. Abadage already has that push on top end as well, so if CFO ever try to contest you setting up vision in the jungle, you just take mid tower, you take the top tower, or they now have to try and defend their turrets, so you get all that vision you need for Baron anyway. It's so hard for CFO to win.
The only source of life that CFO have right now is this mid tier 2. It just means that 100 Thieves can't go that deep into the jungle. Their barrier for entry is basically the red buff. They can't go further than that because of the death brushes, but they're starting it over the wall there. The Azir is hitting it over the wall. Huhi and Someday. Closer is not actually in the pit, but he will dash in with the smite. FBI, no Ren stacks right now, but Abadage trying to zone them away. Someday's the one soloing it. 100 Thieves a little bit split right now.
Definitely a bit of a split call. Regen coming up from the ocean is nice to have, and they're going right over the wall. They're trying to kick things off again. Lockdown, so much damage going through onto Someday, but not enough to finish it. Meanwhile, Rest now running. FBI standing on the front line, Shun doing so much damage. But here comes Abadage! And there it is, another scoop to find the fight. Baron resets, but 100 Thieves taking it again.
100 Thieves find the picks that they need, and they should just be able to turn back over, but look at the base. Minions are conga lining their way in here, and CFO, you gotta go back and deal with that. That'll end the game.
Yeah, they're gonna get the Baron here. 100 Thieves uncontested. I thought Someday was thinking about TPing into the base, but he's gonna TP back in here. Gemini looking for a miracle play. The sweeper should spot him.
Looking for the stun, he's gonna find it. Huhi, play after play after play. This duo, one fumble in the mid lane, but they take the jungler out. They make sure there's no 50-50. They make sure there's no stealing from Thieves.
What a dominating game from 100 Thieves this time around. From bot lane, team play, the macro is good, the cross maps were on point. This is a fantastic first game of the day, especially when you're going up against Genji and RNG later on. this is a big confidence boost for the LCS representatives.
Yeah, especially when you look at the big swap up that we've seen, right? FBI being way more comfortable in this Kalista rather than the Misfortune, being able to play through that strong duo. Closer as well, bringing in more of a carry-orientated pick, so he's able to have a bit more of a fun time. And then when you get to these team fights, you can see despite happening on multiple sides, right? But someday keeping Koala and Mission out of the equation, so the rest of 100 Thieves can deal with the pressure in the box.
And across the board, for now, it feels like 100 Thieves have found a winning formula. Someday, a star performer in week 1 this time, given a power pick to Sejuani, but not necessarily a carry pick. I was initially skeptical, but it's looked so good for the team. The setup has been so consistently clean. And now 100 Thieves looking for the victory march into the base of CFO. CFO some tools to fight back, but it is so hard against this Baron, against this Belbeth, with an inhibitor down, with an Ocean Soul on the opposite side. It feels impossible. Engage now coming in. Shun already forced back. Jarvan off to the flank. Maybe they can burn him down. Massive! Up and out of the fight. They're trying to turn. They're trying to burn. They're trying to make everything happen. Rest. Desperate. Fishing for that Gnar ultimate, knowing maybe he can be the difference maker. But for now, 100 Thieves walk away. They're wounded, but they're not out of the exchange yet. They want to burn down this tower. Closer now stepping forward.
Closer.
Looking for the Endless Banquet. Dashing in and out of the fight. Take back.
We blocked.
The eye locked up, but there's no follow-up this time around, but there's so many minions on the base. 100 Thieves, death by 1,000 cuts for the side of CFO.
And they have the Ocean Soul, so they should be able to heal up. Bot Inhibs respawn. It's still a 4v4. Abbedagge has TP in 20 seconds, so I expect 100 Thieves probably want to stick around.
They want this so badly. CFO doing a good job of trying to defend it, though. Now with the resets coming through for Gemini, they got to be careful. They should be able to get an auto attack onto it and back it up, but okay, nicely done by 100 Thieves. And now with Dragon in 10 seconds, with the Baron recalls, we're going to have another brawl at this objective.
This is CFO's last hope. It's just the Elder Dragon. If Gemini can steal it, if there's a miracle steal from someone like Shun or Mission, they just need to brute force their way in. We're going to see them just sprint down mid lane, try to put down as many walls as possible. The battle lines will be drawn as they both arrive into River at roughly the same time.
Elixir Sorcery just popped there for Mission. They know this is the last fight. Shun as well, now up to 3 items, has that LDR completed, can actually deal some damage to Sunday. This is where they need to make their stand, and this is where they go in blind. No vision at all, but Rest trying to cover for those flanks that Hui has set up every single time we've looked at this objective.
High stakes, single defining fight. Hui again on the flank, but this time they spot it out. This time they know he's coming. Control, we're going to take that vision away. CFO, if they back away, they lose. They mess up going in, they lose. If they wait too long and the minions collapse to their base, they will lose. Everything is stacked against them in this exchange. The Dragon being shredded. Now the jungler going forward. Gemini cut down. The smite is gone. The 50-50 is gone. In this game, CFO are dead men walking because 100 Thieves take no prisoners. Rest, the last name on the list is CFO. Will fall to pieces as 100 Thieves will march into their base and find their first win. The last hope of NA strikes first in their final day.
Hui gets into the backline again with a fantastic ultimate, sets up the 100 Thieves, and the Nexus will fall as NA will cheer.
Step 1, check. 2 more games now for 100 Thieves to get that 3 wins. Very tough opponents on the horizon in Genji and RNG, but this 1 win puts them in the race. If they would have lost here, it would have been disastrous. They'd have to pray for a 3-way tie on 2 wins. Now, fate can be in their own hands, and we'll see how they deal with it. Of course, Hui and Abbedagge in isolation, the 3 representatives there on stage. Good game.